having the right wide receivers can make or break your fantasy football season if you don't draft them the correct way. So today I'm going to be going over my 5 favorite wide receivers that you should draft this year in your fantasy football leagues if you want to win. All right, now up first we have Drake London. Now I've talked about Drake London in the past. I believe he is set to break out even further this year and be even more productive for your fantasy teams. So when we look at what he did last year, number 3 in targets with 157, number 6 in target share, number 3 in target rate, number 7 in receptions, 100. He was number 4 in receiving yards with over 1,200. He was cooking. And when you think about what he did with the quarterback play that he had, obviously having Kirk Cousins last year, a lot of it did not help. And it didn't get any better when the Falcons were getting tired of having Kirk Cousins in, and they weren't really using Michael Penix. But we did see what Michael Penix was able to do with Drake London toward the latter half of the year last year. He was phenomenally elite. Drake London cooked in the championships weeks, all of those playoffs weeks with Penix. He was cooking. Number 7 in total route wins last year. Number 9 in win rate versus man. I truly think that he might be my favorite first round pick this year. And that is more so because of the players that he's going around. Obviously, when you have the opportunity to get a Jamar Chase or a Bijan, you're going to take those guys. It's obvious. But when you're looking at the back half of the first round, Drake London is a guy that I want each and every time over a guy like Puka. I want him over BTJ. And because of that situation that he's in, I want him over Amon-Ra. I think he's going to be phenomenal this year. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a top 5 finish for him in fantasy this year at wide receiver. I'm getting as many shares of Drake London as I possibly can. I believe that this dude is really going to be elite this year. I'm looking like 1,500 yards minimum for him. I think he's going to cook. You guys should definitely draft him. And yet again, at number 2, we have another guy that I've talked about a lot, Ricky Pearsall. I truly believe that he is going to be elite this year. He is building chemistry with Purdy and he has been building great chemistry throughout this offseason. You look at the other wide receivers there. Debo is now gone. Ayuk is still hurt. Jennings is playing, but he still is interested in a new contract. I think Ricky Pearsall has a chance to step in and be this number 1 receiver for the 49ers. He caught 14 of his 18 targets last season in the last 2 games for 210 yards. He was seen as a focal point of that offense in those last 2 games, and I think that Shanahan is going to continue to use him as such going forward. He's super athletic and he tears up man coverage. He is really good at getting open, playing that little slot role, and I think Purdy is going to find him a lot more this year, take some pressure off of guys like George Kittle, who are going to have a lot of coverage on them, and Pearsall is going to find his openings and help this offense cook. This is an efficient offense. As much as, the 49ers have dealt with injuries in the past, this is a very efficient offense when things are going right. I have no doubt that Pearsall can be that wide receiver 1, and he's going to grab so many fantasy points. And along with that, thus far in training camp, practice reports have been very good. They have been very positive on Ricky Pearsall. They said that he has been the best wide receiver by far for the 49ers in training camp, and it hasn't really been close. So I have no doubt that he's going to really step further into that wide receiver 1 role this year, and I think that he could potentially, going as the wide receiver 41 or 42 that he is, it would not shock me if he finishes in the top 24 if the reports that I'm seeing and his usage is the way that I see it being. I have no doubt that that will be a dub for you guys. And up next at number 3, we have Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley, who had a very sneakily quietly good year, I would say, for what he had to work with. I think that he's going to be even better this year. When you look at the stats that he had, he was number 1 in air yards. They were throwing it out to this man. 1,883 air yards, led the league by far, number 4 in air yard share with 44%. They were making sure that they were trying to get him the ball, and that was, with other options alongside him. You know, they're airing it out to him. He was number 5 in average target distance with 15.7 yards. He had the third most deep targets with the 97th highest catchable pass rate. You have to keep in mind that the quarterback play last year was absolutely atrocious for the Titans. You had guys like Mason Rudolph and Will Levis, who were his quarterbacks last year, and do not inspire great quarterback play. I mean, we literally memed Levis last year, 4 straight weeks, because he just did things that were meme worthy. And I don't expect that to still continue to be the case to the same level that it was last year. I've heard through reports that Calvin Ridley is elite so far in training camp and has been playing very well with Cam Ward. I have no question that he's going to continue to be elite, and I think that he is going to outmatch all of his fantasy stats from last year. He's still going in those late rounds. Same thing as Ricky Pearsall, like a round earlier. He's going around second receivers. I'm taking the first receiver all day, every day in that offense regardless. I'm trusting that Cam Ward is going to continue to get him that ball, and I am trusting that Calvin Ridley is going to be, a top 24 wide receiver this upcoming year. I truly believe it. I think you guys should go out and draft. Up next at wide receiver 4, I have DK Metcalf. When you look at Aaron Rodgers last year, albeit he did play for the Jets last year, different team, different scheme, I totally understand. He did provide 250 targets between Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson, and DK Metcalf has nobody else alongside him who's going to demand that kind of target share. His wide receiver 2 is Calvin Austin or Roman Wilson. Nobody is going to compete with DK on the level that Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson were competing with each other last year. He is going to be the clear favorite target, and George Pickens, I'm sorry, is not DK. George Pickens, I don't believe, is a better receiver or even close to the same receiver that DK is, and let me tell you why. George Pickens last year was ranked number 100 in route win rate versus man with the 12th highest target rate. DK, on the other hand, had the 5th highest win rate and was 24th in target share. So he was getting a lot less targets in man coverage, but was winning them a lot more. So you put all those things together. You look at Aaron Rodgers. I understand that he is over 40 years old, and he's taken a step back from the Aaron Rodgers that we knew and loved in Green Bay. But I do see him continuing to throw the ball deep to DK. DK is going to win these routes. He's going to. That's just who he is. He has the speed to do it. He had the number 1 most deep targets in 2024. I wouldn't be surprised if they continued that. They're going to continue to use that speed, something that George Pickens did not have, and I think that they are going to throw the ball a lot more. Aaron Rodgers and DK this year is going to be quite the fantasy stack, quite the connection. Do not sleep on it. All right, and last but not least, at number 5, we have Courtland Sutton, who is currently going around average of wide receiver 24, which is just about the same range as guys like Calvin Ridley, Devontae Smith, George Pickens, Jameson Williams. I don't really get that. I don't see Jameson Williams being the guy that's going to go higher than one Devontae Smith, George Pickens, or Courtland Sutton, or most people for that matter. This isn't going to be the same Detroit offense, but I also don't understand other wide receiver 2s that are clear as day wide receiver 2s in Devontae Smith and George Pickens, who aren't going to get the same type of target share that Courtland Sutton is going around or ahead of him. That just does not make any sense to me. He is coming off of the best season of his career, just signed a 4-year contract extension. He finished 2024 as wide receiver 13. He had over 130 targets in 2024, and the Broncos have upgraded only at tight end with Evan Ingram. No wide receiver upgrades to speak of, so no competition in the wide receiver room for Cortland Sutton. Last year was number 2 in air yards, just behind Calvin Ridley. So he was getting targeted quite a bit, and this being done with the 37th highest target rate in 2024. I expect Bo Nix to improve on his accuracy. No more, freshman jitters, no more rookie jitters. Now the sophomore has to, improve, continue to improve, get the ball to his team, and we'll see what Bo Nix has in store, because the Broncos defense is actually poised to be super elite this year, which means the Broncos offense is going to get plentiful opportunities to continue to run up the score, and Cortland Sutton is going to be the benefactor of a lot of those opportunities. I expect him to be probably a top 12 receiver this year. Honestly, I think the Broncos, as much as people say, are going to be elite in terms of, their scoring. I think that this is a well put together team, and I think that Cortland Sutton is going to be very, very good this year. So this is going to be Cortland Sutton's year. I think he did this having the 59% catchable target rate, number 96 in the league. Absolutely insane. They're sleeping on this man. They're going to continue to sleep on Cortland Sutton. It's time to wake up. He's going to be elite this year. Draft him. And that's going to be it for me, guys. If you guys like this video and you guys want to see more videos like it, make sure you smash that subscribe button, like, comment, let me know what you think, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.